Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday session. Today we put up a new banner, as you saw, with our topic for today. We will be talking about pronunciation. So yeah, we got a few requests from some of you to practice pronunciation, and we're going to try it today. We'll see how it works. In the classroom, my students always loved doing pronunciation. And we sort of did call response where I would pronounce something and they would pronounce it back. Today we won't be able to hear you, but hopefully we can still get some good practice in, and you can learn something about how to improve your accents a little bit and master English pronunciation. So many people have probably heard of the dreaded TH or the short A and cat. Those are some of the famous pronunciation difficulties in English. But today, we're going to talk about something called voicing. How would you say voicing in German, Maren?
Voicing, devoicing.
Stimmhaft,
Stimmhaft und stimmlos, genau. Ich glaube nicht mit einem Nomen, sondern eher mit einem Adjektiv umschreiben, ja.
Yeah, so this is a topic that I think for German learners of English is particularly difficult, and so let's talk a little bit about that today and see if we can improve a little bit on that. So, but before we do that, just a note on pronunciation and accents in general. I think accents are something that many people are sort of afraid of or embarrassed about, or they think, if I have an accent, I shouldn't speak up, or they're afraid to speak up because of their accent. And I think it's really important when we're learning languages to own our accents, dass wir unsere Akzenten auch, dass wir stolz darauf sind. And I think it's something that we should never not speak because of our accent. So we should try to improve our pronunciation on the one hand, but also love our accents as well. I've been learning German for, I think, 15 years, longer maybe even, and I still have an accent. I know I still have an accent, and I think, Maren, do you have an accent in English? Maybe a little.
I think so too. Yeah. Genau. Ich sage das nochmal ganz kurz auf Deutsch, weil das wirklich wichtig ist für uns, euch das mitzuteilen. Wir denken, einen Akzent haben in einer anderen Sprache ist überhaupt nichts Schlimmes. Im Gegenteil sogar, das gibt uns ja Charakter in einer anderen Sprache. Und wenn man allein überhaupt mal über Englisch nachdenkt, es gibt ja schon britisches Englisch und amerikanisches Englisch, und da gibt es ja auch kein falsch oder richtig. Menschen sprechen einfach verschieden, und ganz wichtig ist auch, ein Akzent hält euch nie davon ab, in einer Sprache fließend zu werden oder ein muttersprachliches Niveau zu erreichen. Denn muttersprachliches Niveau bedeutet ja einfach, wie man mit der Sprache umgehen kann. Das heißt ja nicht, dass man so sprechen muss wie ein Muttersprachler, dass man sich so anhören muss. Und deswegen, klar, wir können und werden heute ein bisschen die Aussprache üben, aber macht euch keinen Kopf, wenn ihr denkt, ihr klingt trotzdem anders. Das ist ganz normal. Und genau, wir haben gesagt, wir werden üben. Also wenn ihr irgendwo sitzt, wo ihr ein bisschen Aussprache mit uns üben könnt, würden wir uns freuen, wenn ihr einfach mitmacht. Und wir wollen zwischendrin fragen, will ich auch mal ein bisschen nach Feedback, ob ihr das Gefühl habt, das klappt oder das klappt noch nicht so. Und should we start with the devoicing, Todd?
Let's do it.
Explain final devoicing. Ich erkläre das mal kurz auf Deutsch, und dann kann Todd ja uns sagen, wo das herkommt. Final Devoicing ist auf Deutsch die Auslautverhärtung. Und das haben wir in Wörtern. Ich schreibe euch das mal kurz hier in die Kommentare rein. Wenn wir zum Beispiel im Deutschen uns folgende Wörter angucken, Tod und der Tod, dann sprechen wir das genau gleich aus. Einmal ist am Ende ein T und einmal ein D, aber im Deutschen sprechen wir stimmhafte Konsonanten, also D, B und G, hart aus. Also wir sagen einfach Tod mit T, auch wenn es mit D geschrieben wird. Oder zum Beispiel der Zug. Wenn ich im Zug fahre, dann spreche ich auch nicht Zug, sondern ich sage Zug. Es ist im Deutschen ganz natürlich, aber im Englischen gibt es das so nicht. And Todd, can you explain? I mean, English was derived from German, but why does English not have the final devoicing? Can you tell us something about the history?
Why the difference? Yeah, it's another interesting story here with the history of the two languages. And as we know, at some point in time, people from northern Germany, around sort of the North Sea and Baltic Sea, basically went and settled Great Britain. And this happened around the 4th or 5th century, somewhere in there. And this phenomenon, this phonological rule in German, Auslautverhärtung, happened around the 8th or 11th century. Mm-hmm. So basically, these speakers of Germanic languages left the continent for what is now Great Britain, and then afterwards, Auslautverhärtung happened. Mm-hmm. So we don't have it in English, but we do have it in German.
Mm-hmm. And that's a tricky thing for us German native speakers, because we tend to do the final devoicing even in English. And do you have some examples for us, Todd, where we can see where German native speakers tend to do the final devoicing?
Yeah, there's four consonants in particular that are difficult. And the other thing I would also mention is that it's also reinforced in the writing, right? So as German speakers, we're used to seeing letters like B at the end of the word, and we have a P in our head. We have a voiceless, a stimmloses Konsonant in unserem Kopf. And so, yeah, that's basically what makes it so difficult, I think. So ending in B, we have the words club, cab, vocab, and crib. And Maren, perhaps you can explain this in German as well. One of the things that maybe you'll hear as I pronounce these words is you'll hear almost a release at the end. So there's not just a stop at the end of club. There's a release of club. Yeah. And I would encourage you at home, if you're pronouncing these words, to exaggerate, to make that be even stronger and even more stimmhaft than you normally would.
Genau. Also wenn wir zu Hause üben, dann können wir versuchen, das extra deutlich auszusprechen, also sogar übertrieben, dass man richtig sagt Club, um dieses Gefühl dafür zu kriegen, wie das B am Ende klingt. Ihr dürft auch gern alle mitmachen, wir hören es sowieso nicht.
Yeah, practice as much as you want, and these are just great opportunities for us to feel how those consonants feel when we exaggerate. So once again, I'll read through these one more time, and then we'll do the next one. So N and B: club, cab, vocab, and crib.
Should I get the ones for you that end in D?
Yeah, let's do D, the next one.
You can read that one, Todd.
So ending in D, we have flood, dad, cloud, vivid, aid. Maren, do you want to try it?
Flood, dad, cloud, vivid, aid.
Very good. Yeah.
But I can feel if I would just talk, I think I would do in some of the words, especially when I just talk English, I think I do the Auslautverhärtung sometimes, because it's just so in me to do that.
Yeah. This is one of the very common things. My wife's father is German, and he's lived in the United States for, I think, 60 years. And he still does Auslautverhärtung. So if this is something you struggle with, don't feel bad. This is a very difficult thing to get. But I still think it's fun to practice. Let's look at should we look at the G's?
Yes, wait, I post them for you. And there you go.
So ending in G, and we'll talk more about G later, we have the words rag, big, drag, twig, bug, and dog. Another thing, perhaps, and again, maybe Maren, you can explain this in German as well, so everyone understands. When you pronounce that final consonant, the G or the D or the B, it's almost like you can feel a buildup of pressure in the back of inside your mouth, because you're holding that consonant for a moment after the word ends. So it's not rag. You don't stop right away. You say rag, and you can feel that pressure building up inside your mouth.
Also ein bisschen Druck, der sich in dem Mund aufbaut, hinten, ne?
Ja.
Beim G.
Ja, weil die Stimme ja weitergeht, ne? Die Stimme und die Luft geht weiter nach dem Ende des Wortes. Ja.
Genau. Und wollen wir uns noch die mit S anschauen? Das ist, glaube ich, auch ein Buchstabe, der für uns so ein bisschen tricky ist manchmal.
Yeah, and the S is super common because pretty much, well, not all plurals, but many plurals in English end with this S that actually has a Z sound, a Z sound. And here as well, I think just practicing the sound by itself is useful. So just saying Z and getting used to that sound is a good practice.
Yeah. So but we do have the sound, in, for example, if we say Sommer, there the first S is the stimmhafte S. So the one we need here.
Yeah, exactly. Sieben is another good one as well.
Yes.
So ending in S, we have the words hens, please, and cheese. You want to give it a go, Maren?
Yeah. Hens, please, cheese. It sounds different from what you're doing. I can already feel that. And you know why I put the first one, the plural of like Hühner. I put that one because I remember when I was at university and I had a pronunciation course in English, and that was one word I pronounced, and my teacher said, no, you're saying it in the very German way. You say hens. And I remember this one because for me it was also pretty tricky in the beginning. But again, do not worry if you do that, because also everybody will understand that, right? It's fun to practice. It's fun to just hear the difference. So if you can hear the difference, that's already a great first step. And you can try do it yourself. But if you're struggling with that, don't worry too much about it.
Yeah, I think Maren, you said a really important thing there, which is the first step in learning pronunciation is using your ears to hear that difference. And we'll practice what are called minimal pairs here in a second. I think they're called Minimalpaare.
Minimalpaare.
Yeah, and here is a really good place for us to really listen for that difference between stimmhaft and stimmlos. So let's look at those. And again, the best way to practice pronunciation, these minimal pairs are great. You can find lists of them online. But in general, just speaking, just listening and engaging with pronunciation is the best way to practice. And what we're doing today here is really trying to get you to feel what these sounds feel like in your mouth. When we learn languages, we often just think of it as learning words or learning a grammar rule. But language and learning a language is a very physical thing as well. We have to use the muscles in our mouth. We have to use our tongue and the positioning of our jaw. And practicing these things is also very important, I think. So, yeah, let's look at some minimal pairs.
Ja, ich kann ja mal kurz Minimalpaar auf Deutsch erklären. Das ist ein Begriff aus der Linguistik. Und Minimalpaare sind Wörter, die ähnlich klingen und die alle Phoneme, also alle Laute gleich haben, bis auf einen. Ein ganz einfaches Beispiel im Deutschen wären Wörter, die sich reimen. Zum Beispiel leise und Reise sind Minimalpaare. Oder aber auch Wind und Wand. Das ist immer nur, wenn ein Buchstabe oder ein Laut unterschiedlich ist. Und ich glaube, auf Englisch wird das jetzt deutlich, wenn Todd uns das erste Minimal Pair zeigt.
Ja. Okay. So, the first one. One second. Gertrude commented that the picture is gone, dass das Bild weg ist. Ich hoffe, das ist für euch nicht der Fall. Okay.
I can see still. I can still see and hear you.
Okay. Good. We will continue on. So the first minimal pair that we have is with P and B. So the first word is nip, and the second word is nib. Nip and nib. So listen for that difference when I pronounce it, and then try to repeat at home as well. You'll hear as well that sometimes the vowel sounds even a little bit shorter in the first word. So with the voiceless consonant, with the P, you'll hear that the I almost has a slightly shorter sound. Listen again. Nip, nib. It's almost as if the voice at the end of nib causes the I to sound longer. So have a listen there. And give a thumbs up if you feel like you've got this sound down. Give a thumbs up and let us know. And if you can't hear it, or you're not quite getting it, let us know as well, and we can try to explain a little bit more.
We can do another one.
Wonderful. So let's look at, let's do one more with P and B.
Yep. Let me show that. Cup.
So here we have
cub.
With the vowel U, we have, give it a go, Maren. Give it a try.
Yeah, I do it again. Cup and cub.
Cub. Very good, yeah. So here again, the vowel almost gives us a little indication of the consonant at the end. So cup, cub. And always try to exaggerate that B at the end. Cub, cub. Yeah. It's okay to sound silly.
Always. You have another one with the P and the B.
Yep, let's do one more. And this one's doubly difficult because this vowel is also a challenge for German learners. So the short the A sound. The first word is cap, and the second word cab. Do you want to give it a go, Maren?
Yeah, a cap and a cab. Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so when we're on the street, we should call a cab and not a cab, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And that vowel should sound kind of long for us as well. It's a kind of drawn out long vowel. Yeah, good. All right, let's look at a few here with the T's and the D's as well. I hope everybody's also practicing at home.
I hope so too. And just, vielleicht sage ich das auf Deutsch, Gertrude hat offenbar Probleme und kann das Video nicht abspielen. Ich hoffe, für die anderen funktioniert das. Für uns, also ich kann Todd gut sehen und hören und für mich läuft das auch alles weiter. Ja, wir machen erstmal weiter. Ich hoffe, das ist nur ein kleines Internetproblem und wird sich gleich auflösen.
Ja, ich hoffe auch. Okay. Machen wir dann weiter?
Ja.
The next minimal pair that we're looking at is with T and D. We keep trying this at home as we go. So the first word here, mate. The second word, maid. And this one again, you really hear that vowel, that long vowel in the voiced consonant. So try thinking about that as you're pronouncing as well. Mate, maid. Try it, Maren.
Mate und maid.
Yeah, very good.
Todd, I see a comment for you. Todd, can you say Pfirsich?
I hope so. I used to get these challenges in Austria from my students. Let's try it. Pfirsich. Pfirsich.
Very good. Very
I tried.
good. Yeah.
The one I always got in Austria, since they speak Bayerisch there, or Bayerisch, is Ohrkatzelschwoaf.
Wow. Yeah. We need a harder challenge for Todd.
Schwanz, yeah.
Okay, you have another one with T and D for me.
Yeah, we're going to keep going here. So similar to the mate and maid, we have with an F at the beginning, fate and fade. Try that one.
Fate and fade.
Yeah, yeah, that one I really heard the vowel, the lengthened vowel, really nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best here.
Really
but
good.
when I speak, I realize that I sometimes do the Auslautverhärtung in English, so.
Yeah, it's incredibly
totally normal to do that.
Yeah.
For German native speakers, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. We're going to do one more with T and D here. Here we have a verb, intent, intend.
Yeah, that's tricky for German native speakers, yeah.
Yeah, intent, intend. And here again, just pay attention to that release at the end. There's an extended sort of buildup of air in your mouth with that voiced consonant. Yeah, exactly.
So
let's do a few with G.
With G, okay.
Or do we want to? Should we skip to S? How's our time? Yeah, let's do a couple with K and G. So here we have buck and bug. I feel like the G is a particularly tough one. Buck, bug. The air is building up in your throat back here.
And it's actually, I mean, for me, as a German native speaker, it feels way easier to say buck instead of bug.
Yeah, it's a lot of work somehow. Yeah, and it's something that is automatic, of course, for us as English speakers, and it's something that you have to consciously sort of overcome as a German speaker. So that's why it's so difficult. Let's do another one. This one is also a challenge, I would say. We have the tricky vowel again here. And tag. The vowel is a little bit different here as well. So this isn't a perfect minimal pair, but tack, tag, tack, tag.
Yeah, I can hear the difference. Tack and tag. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, of course, it's easier to hear the difference than to reproduce the difference.
Ja. Carina hier fragt nach ein paar Übersetzungen. Das können wir gern machen. Ja, vielleicht, Maren, kannst du ein paar davon übersetzen hier? So tag das ist so ein
tag has a lot of meanings, no? Yeah. I know that a tag can be a little pin.
Ja.
Reißzwecke.
Ja, exactly.
Tag, oh, das benutzt man ganz oft auch auf Deutsch. Das ist so taggen, genau, etwas kennzeichnen oder
bekleben oder so. Ja, genau. Yeah, let's look at just a few really quickly. We can look at a few of the previous ones as well. So a buck is a Hirsch, männlicher Hirsch.
Ja.
And a bug is a Mucke.
Ja, oder Käfer, einfach Käfer.
Oder Käfer.
Ja.
Intent and intend. Ooh, that's a trickier one. Intent to intend.
So intent with a T is Vorsatz, right? So when you want to do something, and the other one is the verb for this, right?
Yeah. So
I intend to do that. Yeah. Ich habe vor, das zu machen oder etwas zu machen.
Genau. Und dann wir machen noch eins hier. Fate heißt, was ist das?
Schicksal?
Schicksal, danke. Yeah. And fade is when we have a light, for example, that is becoming less bright. So.
Wie sagt man dazu auf Deutsch? Fade in oder fade out, einblenden, ausblenden.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. We should have thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, these are some fun words as well to know in general in English. So here's a few more with S. Let's look at a few of these. So first we have bits, and we have bids. Bids, bits. Try it again, Maren.
Bits and bids.
Ah! Yeah, no, I heard it. I heard it. The important thing is to hear that difference.
Yeah.
So listen for your own voice as you practice at home, and really try to sense that difference, both in that vowel length and, like I said before, the sort of buildup of your voice within your mouth. You should sort of feel the vibration in your throat as well as you pronounce these. Cool.
So bits means like pieces.
Ja.
Also kleine Stückchen oder kleine Teile.
Ja.
Bids könnte ein Verb sein. Bitten oder.
Bids would be like that's like if you're at an auction.
Gebot, sagt man auf einer Auktion Gebot?
Ah, Gebot, ja. Angebot.
Oder Angebot oder so, ja.
Stimmt. Yeah. And let's do one more minimal pair here. Here we have butts and buds. I like the one with U. Somehow this really brings out the voiced consonant. Butts, buds.
Butts, buds.
Yeah, sounds good. Good job. Cool. And that means, so there's a couple meanings of butts. Einmal Po, aber auch Kippen, also Kippenteile. Also
im Zigarettenstummel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then a bud is a flower before it opens.
Genau, eine Knospe.
Yeah, exactly. So those are minimal pairs, and they're perfect for practice. I think they're really good for really sensing and hearing your own pronunciation and the difference between those consonants. So feel free to continue practicing with those at home. There's one more letter that we want to do in the last couple of minutes. We don't have tons of time, but I think we can at least talk about it, and that is the G in English, which is always tricky because it has different sounds associated with it. So we know we have the G sound, but in English we also have one that is somewhat tricky for Germans learning English, I think, and that is this J sound. Again, it's about voicing, except at the beginning of the word. So we have the words here, good, that's the one G sound. Then we have the liquor, gin, and then the third word, which is pronounced differently in the United States and in England or the UK. So we say in the United States, garage, almost like you would say it in French, garage. And in Great Britain, they say garage. So again, there with the J sound in there. What's interesting is we do have this J sound in German, but it's basically devoiced, so stimmlos. And I think it's perfectly shown in this word pair. So in German, we have the word Dschungel. And that was something that was tough for me to learn as well, to devoice that. So I really always wanted to say Dschungel in German, but you have to get rid of the voice in English. So let's listen to the difference there. I'm going to try to pronounce it well in German. Dschungel, jungle. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, I would say a bit more Dschungel.
Ah, you do
not
say
as hard, not as devoiced as you would say it, and jungle.
Okay. So they're more similar than maybe I thought, which is good. So
but we do, I mean, there are not many words that contain this sound, right?
Yeah,
I think most of the time the German G is pronounced as G, groß, or as a K, as in Zug.
Yeah, for sure. So we saw one word already in the previous list, but this is another one where I think German and English just sound a little bit different. So in English, we have the really strong voiced Jin. And in German, what can you say it in your natural again? Oh, okay?
Gin, yeah, but there is a slight difference, I would say.
Okay,
it's almost the same. But again, I mean, gin is not a German word, right? We took the word as is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I've learned something as well, that there is actually a bit more voicing in that initial sound than I thought. That's good. So what I wanted to do with this sound is actually talk a bit about what's going on in your mouth during this producing this sound, and maybe Maren, you can help me with the German a little bit. But
I'll do my best.
Okay. But I think it's really fun or really interesting to think about what your articulation muscles are doing in your mouth, what your tongue is doing, and so on. So with this initial G sound, we're basically like putting our tongue behind our teeth. So if you just touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth, that's the starting point of this sound. And what we're doing basically when we start to produce the G and in jungle, is we're basically building up pressure. I talked about this with the end of with the final voiced consonants as well, but we're building up pressure by sending our voice into that spot that our tongue has stopped. So we go, you can only do it for a second. and then you have to release it, right? So you release it by basically letting your tongue come off the roof of your mouth. So you go, and it's that sort of release that creates that sound that we want to produce with that G. So do you want to try it in German? See if you can do it?
Unbedingt. Okay. Genau, also am Anfang, du hast gesagt, die Zähne sind zusammen und man legt die Zunge oben an die Zähne ran und baut so ein bisschen, man lässt die Luft kommen und baut das so ein bisschen auf und dann nimmt man die Zunge so ein bisschen runter und lässt die Luft nach vorne entweichen.
Ja.
Das merkt man auch, wenn man das spricht, dass die Zunge dann so ein bisschen nach unten geht. Genau,
aber immer noch mit ein bisschen, wir sagen auf Englisch, Resistance. Also
ein bisschen Widerstand, oder? Ja.
Yeah, genau. Also das ist das Wichtige dabei. Und immer mit der Stimme, ja, das ist der Unterschied zwischen Ch und J, ist, dass wir die ganze Zeit unsere Stimme auslassen, ja. Yeah, exactly. And I think, once again, in general, I think it's fun to just think about what the mouth is doing. And language is also muscle memory. That's a great term in English. Do you have something similar in German for
Muskelgedächtnis? Ich glaube, das Wort gibt es nicht. Also man versteht bestimmt Muskelgedächtnis oder ja, aber ich weiß nicht, ob es ein Wort dafür gibt.
Ja, man hört das normalerweise in Verbindung mit Sport. Also in Sportarten, allerlei Sportarten muss man ja eine Bewegung perfektionieren oder so. Und die Sprache ist eigentlich nichts anderes als das. Also das sind auch Muskeln, die trainiert werden müssen. Also von dem her, sollen wir das auch im Kopf behalten, ja? Cool. The time went fast today. It's already 10:30.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone was practicing at home, and this was a bit of an experiment. I've never done pronunciation where I can't hear what everyone else is doing, so I hope you were able to practice at home and that it was fun for you. Please do leave us feedback. If you thought it was strange or boring, let us know. And if you really enjoyed pronunciation practice, let us know as well, and we can do other sounds. We didn't talk about TH, for example. We didn't talk about some of the other tricky sounds in English, so we can do that in weeks in the future.
Genau. Also, wenn euch das Spaß gemacht hat, sagt uns das. Wenn ihr findet, wir sollten lieber doch keine Aussprache üben, weil das nichts bringt, sagt uns das auch gerne. Und ansonsten sind wir aber erstmal am Montag wieder da mit einem Grammatikthema.
Ja, wir freuen uns. Thanks everybody and have a great day.
Danke, ciao.
Bye bye.